What's up guys, Mike here with Cards View Sports Cards. So I've done a few videos now where I've referenced and shown glimpses of the spreadsheet that I use to track all of my sales and expenses. Now hopefully I'll be able to offer membership tiers on this channel soon, as I'm getting close to the watch time hours requirement, and I plan on doing an exclusive members only video that really dives into how I organize my data and use it to my advantage to optimize my selling strategy. So if you're watching this into the future and you see a link that just popped up in the corner, you'll know I've already posted that video and that I'm now offering memberships on the channel, so go check it out. Would love to have you be part of the Cards View Sports Cards family. But today we're still gonna dive into some of these topics on the surface so that you can see how I analyze my numbers and decide what is the best way for you to analyze your sales numbers and expenses if you're selling sports cards. Before we do, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. Alright, there are literally 1,000 different ways you can track your sales. There's tools like Excel, Google Sheets, there's separate accounting software like QuickBooks, there's data directly in eBay obviously, although we'll talk about why you can't just look at that data only. So which tool do you use? How do you organize your data? How do you know if you're really making profit selling sports cards like I've alluded to in so many of my other videos? Let's dive into my method and also look at some of the spreadsheets that I use. Now the biggest point we have to realize when it comes to the data and accounting side of our sports card business is that we're not just tracking sales, we're tracking earnings. The biggest mistake you can make, and I've seen a few flippers do this, is only look at your eBay sales and think, wow, I crushed it last month. But there are loads of expenses and costs for your business that don't live inside the eBay platform. So in order to track earnings, which is really what we want, because that tells us if we're making money or not, you have to track your initial spend on your product. In other words, you have to know how much your inventory costs. Every single collection that I purchase for inventory goes into a spreadsheet with its own SKU, which stands for stock keeping unit, attached to that item. And every one of those line items shows important data for that collection. Data like total cost, total cards, cost per card, and then how many cards from that collection I think that I can sell. So that's the first piece. The second piece, which is incredibly important in tying the eBay reports, which we'll show in a minute, back to this initial SKU, is making sure that each card that gets listed on eBay from that collection gets marked with the same SKU. So here, if I list any cards from the MLB collection on eBay, they're all gonna get a 203 when I list them. This is a very important part here because otherwise you have literally no way to tie that card back to your purchase data if you sell it and it shows up on your eBay reports. You can say to yourself, I think I'll remember, oh yeah, this was that baseball collection that I bought, the one with like 1,000 cards. But once you buy that next collection and the next one and the next one, I promise you'll be saying, wait, which collection was that again? So you have your purchase info for your collections, and anytime I buy a new collection, I log it on that sheet. It takes literally 30 seconds. So this is a new baseball card collection I bought just the other day. So we'll add in the title, add in the rest of the information here, total cost, total cards, some of the stuff calculates automatically, throw in a little description, and that's it. It doesn't take that long. Now every card I list on eBay from that collection is going to get this SKU, and when I run those eBay reports, it's all going to tie together based on this row right here. So what do you do to tie it all together? What we're doing here is basically marrying expenses and sales. I have a separate tab on that spreadsheet where I paste all my sales reports from eBay. And again, I'm not going to dive into too much about how I have this set up. I have a lot of custom columns on this sheet to reformat some things and give me some additional data to analyze. I'm going to save that level of detail for our members only video, but you have that separate tab. You go into payments and then into reports in eBay, and you can select the time period here, and then you want to download this CSV file. I'm going to load it into this sheet as a separate tab first. You're going to want to remove all this other stuff here at the top. I literally come into this other tab, paste it at the bottom, and then that spreadsheet I built does the rest for me. It pulls all the data over from the other tab with pre-built formulas, especially data like card cost, and it does it based on that SKU that we entered when listing to eBay, as that field shows up on these custom reports. That's why it's so important to enter that when listing a card. Otherwise, this marriage can't happen without some type of other manual intervention. Every single thing I need to track net profits down to a single card is pre-built into this sheet. Card cost, shipping supplies, ad fees, and I can directly see how much I've made on a single card every single time just by keeping track of collections that I buy and running those reports from eBay. And outside of setting this template up in the first place, which 100% takes a lot of work and time, especially if you're not Excel or Google Sheet savvy, the effort is minimal to get access to this data. Log a new collection purchase and run eBay reports every month. Of course, I have other things in this sheet that I need to keep track of in order to keep this running smoothly. Things like shipping supplies. As I buy new supplies, the prices might change, so I update that information to get the most accurate data. Like if I buy more top loaders and the price was different this time than it was last time, how much I make on a card, if I'm using those top loaders when shipping the card, is going to be different once I start using those new top loaders. So I also track all of my shipping supplies in this sheet. A lot of those I buy in bulk, so I don't have to update that too often, which is great. Then you also have to track expenses that aren't directly related to selling the goods of your business. For example, things like your eBay store subscription if you have one. All right, that's all great, but like I said, what if you're not good with spreadsheets? What if you don't know how to set up any sort of crazy template? You don't have to do it the exact way that I've done it in this sheet. Throughout my various day jobs that I've had, I've worked in analytics before, so I realized that some of this might be too much for some of you. Some of it might be too little, as I've seen some very sophisticated setups here. At the very least, you can keep track of your inventory purchases. It just takes a minute to add a new row. You're literally just typing data into a sheet, and then you can tie each one of those cards back to that SKU when you list the card to eBay. You don't have to be an analytics guru just to do that minimal amount. And if you don't do at least this much, you have literally no way of knowing how much you make on a card because you can't track the overall cost of the card. You can't know profits without knowing costs. At the very least, keep track of your collections and find an inventory system that works for you. It doesn't have to be this system, but when you run an eBay payments report that shows your recent sales like I did, you need some way to tie that back to your original purchase data, or you'll never truly know how much you're earning. You'll know how much you're selling, but you won't be able to know how much you're earning from the collections that you buy. You can do it a million different ways, as I mentioned. You can even run these eBay reports, filter for orders only. That'll give you your net amounts, and then you can still subtract other things like ad fees and card costs. Maybe by the time you're watching this, I will have developed a free template for my elite members on this channel. Now, some flippers don't even go this far. They literally just look at it on a cash in, cash out basis month to month, meaning they track all the cash that came in that month against all the cash that went out that month. And that's how they manage their accounting data. The problem with looking at it on such a macro scale is that you'll never truly know if you're making money or not on the products that your business is selling. And knowing if your products are making money or not, or selling or not, is completely and utterly necessary for a business to survive in any industry, not just sports cards. It's very easy to think, okay, well, I have money coming in month to month, and wow, sales are great. And maybe if you peeled back the layers, you actually are making profit, and that's great. But what about the cards you sold where you didn't make profit, but you could have? What about the next month, the next year? What's the plan? How do you even know if your strategy is or isn't working if you aren't able to track this data and leverage it to your advantage for a better sourcing and pricing strategy? I'm using my experience and skills in data analysis that I gained from my day job and applying it to my sports card business because I want to make money. Without this data, you can't answer key questions like what products are most profitable? Yes, profitable. I don't care about sales, I care about profit. What's the average time it takes to make profit on a collection? Which player or era of cards is selling the most? Leveraging data to make more informed business decisions is part of any successful business. Don't think it can't be part of yours as well. The lines get blurry when it comes to selling sports cards because it's very easy for people to say, well, I mean, it's just a hobby at the end of the day, so I don't really expect to make money. Why do I need to keep track of all this data? If you truly are just selling cards for fun and don't want to make money, then you're not worried about these numbers so much. That's fine. But if you do want to make money, and I know that most of you do, you have to have some way to know your costs, expenses, and sales, and marry that data together to analyze your profits. Find the method that works for you, but it has to be a method that allows you, maybe even forces you, to be honest with yourself about the cost of doing business in the sports card industry. If your cost for a single card after all expenses is $2.99, or in business they might say your landed cost is $2.99, and you sold that card for $2, you're not winning. I don't care how much money you brought in that month against how much you sent out. You're literally losing money selling your products, and you won't be sustainable if that's your model. Some sellers do it on a collection basis, meaning if they make enough from some of the cards in that collection to make their money back, then it's okay to lose money on the rest of the cards. But again, you're cutting into those profits that you worked so hard to make in the profitable ones that you sold. Now, I've used this example a lot because I've worked in a coffee shop. After all, I am a trained barista. But imagine a coffee shop using this method to track their earnings. Well, we made more than we spent last month. I guess we're good, right? And that coffee we bought that makes about 100 cups, we sold 50 cups and got our money back. So we can just sell the next 50 cups for like 10 cents, right? And we're good. You'll have losses, you'll have promotions, but it cannot be the mode of operations for your business if you want to survive. If you make profit on a collection, great, keep making profit. That allows you to be even more competitive with your prices on the rest of that cards from that collection because you've already made your money back. The rest is just gravy, and that's fine, but that doesn't have to mean you're gonna lose money selling those cards. Keep the margins a above where you can still make profit, even if it's just a little, on the rest of that collection. Again, I use a Google Sheet because the entire Google Suite is free for the most part. Like I said, I can run my reports, let my calculated columns do the rest. I even have it tied to a reporting dashboard in Looker Studio where I can analyze my numbers in a few charts and graphs. You don't have to do this. All you have to do is use something that allows you to track your data and leverage it for your benefit. I understand that it's very tedious. It might not even be fun. I actually really enjoy it, but some of you might put it right up there with organizing your cards. But I promise you, if you pay attention to your numbers, it can really help you on the path to profitability, even in the ever so saturated sports card market. It's not a magic wand formula, but you'll learn so much more about your business, and you'll start to leverage your own knowledge and make more informed decisions about your next inventory purchase. How much to charge for cards, if you're spending more than you're making, etc., etc. The last thing I'll mention is that the other reason I track this, and you've probably seen this on previous videos as well, is because it allows me to quickly see what profit I could make on a card before I sell it. This way I know how low I can go when accepting offers based on the cost of selling the card with its supplies and fees all built in. So it really helps me in my negotiations. Again, the goal by focusing on profitable sales isn't to overcharge what the market is paying for all of your cards. It's to know where your profit line ends so that you can make an accurate comparison against market prices before you make a sale, so that you can earn the profit that your hard work deserves. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.